we go. Welcome back, everyone. And my apologies for taking so long with part two. But we're back, and I'm going to make it so that I have a little bit more frequency coming in and getting on up that tree, because 2019 is here and 2020 is just around the corner. All right. So we got to make sure that we get this in. This is very important. So again, welcome to Herukhuti, episode 13. And this is part 2 from Cosmologics. That's KOS, meaning order, to Astrology, aka the K-OS, or when you sound it out is chaos. Okay, that's CHAOS. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do today is we're going to cover 3 knowledge systems. Okay. The first one being phonics. Okay. It's going to be phonics and etymology, where we're going to break apart certain words, and we're going to use our ears and our minds by evoking the picture of what these words are suggesting in our mind, to show the subtleties of how we can be moved from an original concept to another concept altogether. Okay, and it's mainly because the words, they have letters. The words are formed by letters, and if you listen to even that word, letters, is the ones that allow your mind to have extra pictures with them just by the way a thing sounds. This actually turns or steers your attention in your mind based on what's going on in your present, current time. Okay, so it's whatever's going on as a fad. It can be whatever's going on in the social media or in the social culture around you. Okay, this is how words kind of morph in context and in meaning. All right. So the second knowledge point will be, or the second knowledge system we're going to explore, is the point, line, and circle. Okay, these are some of the key things that we're going to be exploring so that we can see how to inspect truth. Okay, it's going to be a Sebekian, a high level Sebekian tool that we can develop for our children, so that they can look at the higher principles on the tree of life. Okay, so let's take a look at this tree of life that I was able to print out. This particular tree, it's showing the principles, Geb, Aset, Sebek, and Heru, with Heru. And so everything from Heru down has to deal with terrestrial events, social events, things that happen on the earth plane. Okay, and so anything that's down here, we want to make sure that we're able to inspect using the tools that we can recognize. Okay, and so that knowledge system that I was referring to, the point, line, and circle, is going to show you how we're able to track time, we're able to create colors, we're able to know the position and the quality of numbers, and so forth. It's a true science. Okay, we've been using it all the time. We tell time with that science. So we're going to go into that very carefully so that you can start testing the veracity of whatever belief system that you have. Okay, so we're going into knowledge systems over belief systems, and I'm looking forward to having that discussion live with anyone who wants to be able to challenge themselves to grow beyond the mere following or the belief, which is also managed by the lower aspect of Sebek. Okay, Sebek is one who is the follower of dogma. Okay, but when it gets into the higher realms, then it becomes transformed so that it can say, wait a minute, let me inspect the dogma. Let's see if this adds up to the current reality. Okay, and if this it can qualify as an actuality. All right, remember the difference: actuality and reality. Realities are what we create within the actuality. All right, this for anyone that's new coming in. I have to repeat myself on those types of terms. All right, so the third knowledge system that we're going to utilize is the tree of life itself. Okay, and which is called the Paut Neteru, and it's going to have all of the levels. As you see, that's in black. These are the levels of consciousness, known as the inner planes of consciousness. And these are the levels of consciousness, especially the ones on high, that we must aspire to, because remember, on the involvement of the supreme consciousness itself into the realm, it had to divide itself, and then on its way down, it had to leave parts of itself at certain strata. Okay, and so once you're born here as one of the sparks of the supreme, you will automatically go through a growth process. All right, you'll go through a growth process, and this growth process will actually stop. It's the natural growth process. It'll stop when you're 18 to 24 years old. Okay, and from there you're on your own, because now you have access to observing the stars, okay, which are up in the heavenly realms. Now, that is that observance and that devotion to reaching for higher levels of consciousness that's going to get you there. Now, mind you, everybody's not going to want to do that. So if you're one of those that are watching that do not want to aspire to the higher levels of consciousness, know that you're looking for entertainment. Okay, now granted, this is entertainment because I'm excited about this whole process of spiritual growth, but entertainment alone isn't going to get you justice in the world. Okay, if you don't like people dying for nothing, because of how they look, or because of what someone said about them, if you're tired of those things, it's time to come into knowledge. Okay, we need to use knowledge systems over belief systems. All right, so those are our three, and I want to again welcome you back to episode 13 part 2. We're going to dive in with the breaking up of these words. Cosmologics, we're going to see how cosmologics and astrology are they have a subtle difference. Okay, so when I talk about cosmologics being the way to go, okay, we can look at the word cos. Okay, I've broken it up here. I'm not sure if you can see it, so I will bring it forward as best as I can so that you can see it. Okay, so I'm going to point these little tidbits out. So we have cos, C-O-S, which actually means order. Okay, and in its etymological form, that's spelled with a K-O-S. Okay, so cause also phonetically sounds like cause. Okay, and so what is the cause, or who is the cause? Okay, cosmo. Now we have mo, M-O, which also, if you were to say mu, ma, okay, mo, mu, and ma, they refer to the cosmic mother. Okay, it's the mother principle that gave rise to the womb of creation. Okay, all right, so, and then we go further to logic. Remember, cosmologic. Logic is, when we split that word up, logic, we have log, which is to record. It's an active process of recording or logging something, making a record. Logic is the active recording and application. Okay, logic is the application. Okay, so it's the applied process to life situations. It's the syncretic knowledge that reveals itself in shapes, colors, sounds, objects and events, and they are related and they can be utilized or applied, okay, in the actuality, and they can be applied in the realities that we experience daily at all times. All right. So this is the truth that transcends what's often I call a cop out. This transcends this truth transcends what I call your truth or my truth. This is how people kind of get away from dealing with truth itself. Okay, that is just here. It's evident regardless of my opinion. Okay. See, this truth transcends that. It's regardless of an opinion. Okay, your truth is an opinion because you're on one side of a thing looking at it. I'm on another side of a thing looking at it. But we may see a circle, okay? But if you're on the edge, cutting edge, somebody sees a line. Okay? Now the high road to that is for you to start going and seeing other people's position, or just making a complete round, okay? A complete circle around this thing that you're looking at and that you're observing. That way you can have a more whole perception and a tolerance for people's different viewpoint. All right, so your truth, my truth, we're trying to transcend that argument, okay, which is a cop out to me, okay, because there is a truth that allows you to have an opinion. All right, allow both of us to exist within the same realm and have different opinions about one thing that's obviously present for both of us to see and observe. Okay, so the your truth, my truth is also based on terrestrial, the terrestrial existence. It's the lower aspects of your spirit that allows you to perceive the way you do in terms of my perspective or my truth. Okay, so you have the very earth, perspective. The I, me, my materials. Okay, my emotions, my intellect, my perception of what beauty is. See, all of these are opinions, all right, based on where you are in the world of perception. All right, so we're going to transcend all of that. All right, so we're going to study, okay, so that's cosmologics, okay? Cosmologic is an applied process. What are you applying? Something that's already known, okay? Now, here's the difference, okay? Let's go to astrology. See if I can lean this down. Okay, astro is star, okay? And logi is the same thing up here where the root of log is to record, but when you put logi, or when you put the y on the log, that means just to study. Okay, so you're doing a process, but it's a process of observation. It's not anything where you're applying knowledge to your observation or as a result of observing. Okay, it's just astrology, the star study. Okay, you're studying the stars, but for what cause? Okay, it doesn't say. Okay, but here it says it automatically. Cosmo. That's what you're studying. You're studying the creation and the creator, the nature of creator and creation. And you're actively recording that in your activities. Okay, how you live. It's the applied science of life. Okay, all right, so star study. This subtly applies or implies no application. Okay, there's no application. It's the word or the letter. Remember the letters? They literally allow the mind to look away from cause, okay, which is mo, right? Mu, momo, and focus or study on the effects, which are the stars. So we're just told to look up there or look outside of yourself, okay? but don't make the connection to yourself. Okay? So when we study cosmologics, we're actually encouraged to make that link. We're encouraged to make the link of macrocosm and microcosm. Okay? Every science that deals with that. This is not to say that astrology doesn't do it, because I know for certain that astrology, it has its guilds, that actually talk about and speak about these things. But on the public side, it's more entertainment. And see, it's almost like saying, look over there. It's like a distraction. And then you get the confusion based on, okay, well, I'm an Aries, or I'm a Gemini, I'm a Leo, thinking that you're those things out there when there's so much more to it. Okay? And it's the so much more that actually will bring it, that will recover this astrology into a cosmological science. Okay? And we're going to go into that. All right? So it's a subtle, astrology is a subtle sleight of wording where the program of language suggests to look at a part of creation and not the whole. All right. So that's the first part. Now let's get into the other words, okay, that need to be covered before we go further. Other words like evolution. Okay, evolution is a word. We're going to cover the hijacking of these words, right? Okay, so evolution is a word that's been hijacked by Darwinism, and it's been taken over to help us to move our minds away from the original thought of what created that word itself. To evolve, okay, is to unfold, okay, or to go, or to get better with time. It's like maturity. It's like the maturation of a species, or of a being. It's the maturation process. Okay, it's highly unlike what Darwinism would suggest, that we come from a lower form of creation and evolve into this, or morph into this furry thing called an ape, and then this ape morphs into a hair deprived version of that. Okay, more erect version of that. So also the word revolution is a spin-off. Revolution actually spun off of evolution, in which they used to be used hand in hand. Now go to any dictionary or etymological reference, and you will see that this is the case. Okay, so revolution was hijacked during periods of strife, social strife. Okay, when in actuality, to have a revolution really denotes the completion of a circuit, and every completion of a circuit, wherever you're going along that path of the circuit, it has to deal with the celestials. Okay, the celestials have to do with the lords, or the lowered ones. Okay, which are the planets. Okay, the planets that have the energies that create the weather conditions, if you will, of social events, of the seasons, etc. Okay, these are the lowered ones, or the fallen ones. Okay, so let's take a look at this little tidbit about the lowered, because we hear it, the phonics of lowered. Okay, the lords are the ones that actually dictate what happened on the earth in terms of influence. All right, now they are called the lowered ones, or the fallen ones, because above them are the ones that actually follow the circuits to the T. They never deviate from the circuits of our perception as we look up into the sky. Okay, so we can use that shutter, keep our shutter open on our camera, and we can see the star trails of the constellations as they move through the sky perfectly, and they line up again every time they make that circuit. These guys don't do that. This is why they're the wandering stars. Okay, and remember, stars are nothing more than luminaries. Sun, moon, and stars are all luminaries. They are the lights, the cosmic lights. All right. Okay, now, okay, we have two more words that we need to get through to reestablish the meaning before we go forward with Herukhuti. Okay, so we have spirit. Okay, I've spoken about the word spirit in past episodes. Spirit is not something that is to be confused with the soul. All right. So the spirit, if we listen to the word, is spiro. Okay, and it has to do with the stirring of the air or the breath that we breathe. Spirit is the breath. Okay, so the condition of your spirit is actually managed by the level of frequency that you breathe. Okay, so frequency is really about circuit, how fast you're breathing, how fast the thing, matches up with the rotation of the lords or the planets, the celestials that create the events, the unique events of the days and the seasons. The breath, when you know that the body is a microcosm of the macrocosm, you can actually link the breath up with the circuitry of the cosmos. And this is what Nikola Tesla was alluding to when he talks about man attaching to the wheelwork of nature, or the wheelwork of the universe. Okay, this is the wheel in the wheel, way in the middle of the air. Okay, so but we're gonna actually go through and inspect that using the higher principles of Sebek here in a second. Now let me see if I'm still on track here, because I believe that we will be on point here with Herukhuti Part 2. I wanted to make sure that nobody was left out in the cold with that last video. I know it was leading into something that is proof based, and this is what we're doing right here now. All right, so now previously we were talking about Herukhuti and its role in man's evolutionary journey. Okay, and that journey is the severing from the lower aspects of the spirit. Okay, now before I go forward, I gotta address this soul. That's the last word. Okay, soul. We're all on the soul journey. Okay, and I want to make sure that we recognize that the soul is not the spirit, but the spirit empowers the soul. Okay, because the air is nothing more. The air or spirit is nothing more than sublimated water. Okay, that's energized by the electrical and magnetic fields of the celestial lights themselves. Okay, they're stirring up the atmosphere, or they're stirring up the air, so that we can breathe it in and respond according to the influence, because the seasons are governed by those celestials, and we actually, in order to get through life with the best possible results, is to align with the seasonal flow. Okay, does this mean that we can't do what we want to do? No, we can still do what we want to do, but we have to apply our will to do that. Okay, now we see it applied all the time, but it's misapplied in terms of destructiveness. All right, so let's be about applying our will to make sure that the flow, the cosmic flow, is us. We are a part of the cosmic flow. All right, so all right, so the spirit and the soul. Now the soul is actually making the journey. Okay, the soul is you. Okay, and when we break down the word soul, we can go back to some of the explanations of the involvement of the higher creator, or the supreme consciousness. Okay, when it involves itself here at this part, at the very top of the tree, it is number one. Okay, the word that we use in Latin is soul, S-O-L, and we can hear it in other Latin languages as solo, okay, which means the one. Okay, alone, all one. Alone. All right, so that's your first soul. Okay, this first appearance of the soul is right here. Now, the next appearance of the soul is the creation of the sun itself, okay, which is the S-O-L as well, which is solar in nature. It's fiery, okay? So this is going to be the holy trinity of the souls, okay? Because there's one more soul, right? All right, so once your consciousness involves itself as that single spark, you have the soul that is born in your heart right here while you're in the womb of your mother, and then right here. All right, while you're in your mother, and here's your mother right here, and I'm going to bring it closer here so that you can see that there's a baby. She's holding the baby who has a heart, okay? But the baby still has to be born, and when that baby is born, guess what the last soul is? The bottom of the feet, okay? So the soul must touch the ground. Touch down, all right? So when the soul, the great trinity of the soul is completed, now the journey of the soul has to start. And the earth, the lords of the earth actually give you some assistance, okay? From zero to 6, from 6 to 12, and 12 to 18. That's on this level of consciousness, okay? And then 18 to 24. This is where you're an adult, okay? This is where you're considered to be an adult when you get to 18, all right? And so anywhere between 18 and 24 is when you start standing on your own 2 feet, okay? And then starting to employ the will, which is in your heart, to live a just life in the world. Now, everybody doesn't come back to live righteously. Now, we have to get that, we have to get that into our minds, that everybody that's making the journey of the soul, they've had attachments in past incarnations. Now, this goes into a place where people believe, okay? But there are instances that actually show us that we do continue to come back, and it shows that the soul is immortal, okay? And this, once we get this as a part of our consciousness as a collective, then we won't fear death itself. We fear death primarily because we've been told that if we do this or we do that, we're going to a place called hell forever. And so that kind of wipes, in our mind, that wipes us out from ever doing the right thing, if we've messed up, And so we said, oh, well, we messed up. I guess I'm going to hell. Oh, well, forget about it, But be encouraged, because the soul is immortal, okay? And this, I know, it's just a matter of, are you here to live a just life, to find out for yourself, okay? That's what that's about. We've covered the knowledge system number 1, phonics and etymology, for this episode 13, and we're going to move forward, okay? So the next knowledge system, okay, where we actually sever ourselves from the lower aspects of the spirit, which is Sphere 10, okay? I'm going to go through the levels, all right? Sphere 10 is Geb, all right? Sphere 10 is purely materialistic, and it deals with the survival hustler mentality, okay? It's hustler as the be all and end all of adult expression. It's the I, me, my. Okay, like I'm doing this for you. This is my whatever, and I'm giving this to you so that in the end they're going to have selfish selfish causes for doing these things for you. All right, and it's at the other person's expense, by the way. Okay, and then we're going to go up the tree to sphere 9, or not sphere 9. This is promoting sphere. Okay, we know that we don't live on a ball, so, and everything that's in the sky isn't a ball necessarily, but fear is when you're talking spheres. All right, serpent, fear of snakes. All right, but the level of consciousness, the plane of consciousness, is what we're getting at right here, because everything is in levels. All right, the strata, the vibrational strata that holds the consciousness of all set, has to do with emotional imbalance. It's unstable, it's shy, it's fear-driven, it's addicted to drama. You have your drama kings and drama queens. It's prone to indiscriminate imitation. It imitates what they see, especially if it's entertaining, and they're easily influenced. Now, where do we know this from? A lot of YouTube, a lot of social media, right? And then the news, the radio, the rap music, all other kinds of music that deal with the lower, the magnification of the more lewd, lower nature of man. All right, so we have Sebek. Let me see where I have my descriptions here. At the eighth plane of consciousness. Oh, it's at the 8th. It's number 8. It's the 8th node of consciousness, on the 3rd plane from the bottom. Okay, so this one is the slickster trickster. Okay, it's the fast talker, the technically true truther, the hearer but not the knower, and the dogmatic educator, or it's the student of dogmatic learning. All right, it's the media master, or it's the medianite, the one that consumes the media, takes it, face value. All right, number 7. Okay, node number 7 on the 3rd plane from the bottom is Heteru. Okay, and I'm going to show you the various levels within the tree of life of them here shortly. Okay, I promise. All right, so number 7 is the place of vanity. All right, it's excessive pleasure, lust, and things that tap or sap the life force of the strength of maturity. Okay, so that's the sexual energy that helps you to mature. And if you're overindulging too early, okay, in your life progression, 0 to 6, 6 to 12, 12 to 18, okay, if you're indulging in that too soon, you can never aspire to be the king of your life or the queen of your life. When you're king and queen of your life, you have access to the higher realms of heaven. You have access to the Sophia, the Sophic wisdom, the philosophical wisdom of law. You have a sense of justice. You have the intuition, that warns you of things that are coming long before they get there or get to you. You have the ability to plan long distance. You have the ability to communicate with your ancestors. They don't have to be gone, or they don't have to be there present with you in the flesh for you to communicate with them. You can just feel them. Okay, this is the power of Sekert. Okay, you have uncanny timing. You're in the right place at the right time, and then you have the capacity to unify people. Okay, this is the unity principle that so many people talk about. Okay, It's the unity principle that people say, well, why can't we just get along? It's because all of these things haven't been fulfilled all the way to the top yet. And I'm going to show you how that's supposed to happen. This is why we need to teach our children how to live their lives so that each level is fulfilled, okay? From the bottom to the top, from the bottom to the top, from the bottom to the top, bottom to the top, bottom to the top, okay? All right. Okay, so, and number 6, of course, number 6, because this is like the crown of the head. This is like the very top of the head. This corresponds to the the frontal lobe, and which is the executor faculty, the part of the brain that houses the faculty of executing leadership. All right, so one of the lower aspects of its spirit, or of its expression, okay, is the egocentrism. Okay, it's power hungry, it's self-gratifying, it's the elitist mindset of privilege. Okay, so once it gains that level, because there are certain aspects on these levels that were not fulfilled, it believes that it's entitled. Now that it can see, it's managed to climb up to the mountaintop to see the terrain and the domains. Okay, and now it says, oh, all of this is mine now. Okay, that's something that's out of balance with that, and that's why that person, whether it be a president, whether it be a king, queen, ruler, an elitist, that's what's wrong. Okay, they're out of balance. They haven't achieved the ability to reach the higher aspects of Maat. Okay, or Herukhuti. They'll pick from the low fruit of those trees. Okay, and we're seeing that now with the wars that happen and the judicial systems that are prevailing today. All right, so that does it for the knowledge system, the first knowledge system. Okay, phonics and etymology. Okay, so we're going to move forward. Knowledge system number 2, I get to do a little drawing here, okay, so that we can see the science unfold. Okay, this is something that you'll start seeing if you're a devout follower of a religion. You'll start seeing some of your bits of religion revealed in some of these drawings and diagrams. Okay, all right, so find the appropriate pen so that we can get this thing on the road. All right, I'm gonna get some colors so that the camera can pick it up. I'll get a blue, I'll get a red, and I'll get a green. Let's see what we can do with that. All right, blues, red, and greens. All right, now let's take a look. All right, so point. P-O-I-N-T. All right, so the point. I'm gonna make a little dot right here. Now I have a friend who does some knowledge videos, and in his assessment of certain forms, certain geometries, observations, he's saying that this is a degree, but a point can't be a degree. Okay, and I'm going to show you how and why. A point is just a point. It starts out as 0. Okay, 0. All right, and a point that's in motion is a line. Okay, which is here. This is the second aspect of this science, second factor of this science. Okay, so now we have a radius here. Okay, and this radius, if this were a compass, we'd be able to draw a circle from that. Okay, now that circle, once it makes a complete circuit, is 360 degrees, not 361 degrees. No, it's 360 degrees. Now, I'm going to say this, okay? whenever you have a science that you're putting forward and you can't apply it to the actuality, if you can't demonstrate it to create a technology or to solve some of life's issues, it's either a gross oversight or it's a blatant lie. Okay, now we have to figure out, okay, how do we keep it from being either one of those? Best thing is to test it, test your science, okay? Because every time we look at a degree, okay, it has to start from 0, okay, and then go on to an arc. Because an arc, okay, or to measure a degree, you need to have 3 points, okay? You need to have the first point, the initial point, or the center point, starting point. You have to have another point to designate, okay, this is where this line is going or this arc is going, and then you have to draw, wherever you're going to stop that arc, that's going to be the distance or the degree that's measured from here to here, or wherever, or from here to here. Okay? So your first degree would be, somewhere in here. It's the measure between here and here. It's not the point itself, okay? Because that's 0 point. All right? Every number system it has to start with 0, okay? You can go -0. You can go minus or on a negative trend, or you can go on a positive trend to denote direction, or direction of spin. Okay, you can go east or west. Okay, you see that. All right, so we covered the point, we covered the line, and we covered the circle. All right, circle. All right, so what can we apply with this knowledge that you're going to start with a 0 point and create a circle? See, what do we have with circles? See, we can create the mother of all science with the circle, and we can find out how many different ways that we can observe nature using the circle. Okay, this is the beginning of geometry here. Okay, you can circumnavigate the globe, what they say the globe is. Okay, but we can actually circumnavigate the plane of the earth with this. Okay, and we can know how many degrees to turn left or right. All right, so with that radius, we can do 180 degrees. Okay, and we can create from the whole. Okay, remember the whole, listen to the word, the whole. WHOLE is similar, and it's related to HOLE, okay, which can be translated into holy, okay, when it relates to man. All right, so the circle is the whole, or the holy of holies of creation. Okay, now when we create another a horizontal diameter across the circle, now we have the basis of seasons when we're dealing with calendars. We have the basis of quarters when we're dealing with daily time. All right, so, and we also have the system of ages. Okay, 2160 years, 2,160 years to make an age, which is 1/12 of the whole 360 degrees. All right, so that would be found when we do something like this. All right, so here's your lines. We're expanding the knowledge with the lines here. We went from the point to the line, we made a circle, and now we're dividing. We're using mathematics now to divide up the circle. Okay, now this circle has, you know, has within it, it has tucked within it the principle of three. Okay, it has a trinity within it. Okay, this trinity corresponds to what's called creation, preserving, okay, preservation, and destroying. Okay, so we can see that in our study of what we call today astrology. Okay, the astrological wheel of the zodiac, or the cosmological wheel. Okay, so we need to correct ourselves when we see stuff like this. Okay, if we can prove it, we can do it mathematically. This is the higher aspect of Sebek, in order to appeal to the intellect of the growing human being. Okay, so we have the Trinity. We have the Creator. We have the Preserver and the Destroyer. Okay, Creator, Preserver, Destroyer. Creator, Preserver, Destroyer. Creator, Preserver, Destroyer. So we have 12 sections. Now, in your religious book, you have 12 disciples. You have 12 stones in the breastplate of some of the Old Testament, the Levites. Okay, you have the 12, the 12 tribes of Israel. So these 12s, they come about. Why 12? Because not only does this circle have a trinity in it, this cosmic wheel have a trinity in it, where there's creation, or cardinal, fixed, mutable. Okay, this is where you have Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Okay, the creator, the preserver, and destroyer. We also have the principle of 4. Okay, so you have these two numbers. Okay, we're doing sacred geometry, really. Okay, so 3 times 4 is 12. All right. 3 plus 4 is 7. All right. Okay, so where's the 7 come into play? All right, so this is how you have 7 days of the week. Okay, we can actually go in and find 7 days, and the seven, you have your Mars, okay, or you have your sun, moon, Sunday, Monday, Mars, Marti, okay. We have Mercury, that's Wednesday, or Miércoles. You have your Thursday, your Thursday, your Lunes, Martes, Mercuris. I forget the Thursday. Friday, you have your Viernes, and then you have your Saturday, your Sunday, and so you have your 7 days, okay, within that. Okay, 3 plus 4 is 7. All right, so you have your 4. Let's go into the 4. All right, so we're going to talk about the 4 seasons here, and that's, you have 4 quadrants. Anytime you make that plus, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and you can turn this slightly so that you'll have another one here, another cross here. That's your second one. And then you can turn it again and you'll have your third one. Okay, here and here. So you have 3 crosses. Okay, same thing with your 3. You have your 3. Let me show you your 3. All right, so you have your equidistant triangles here. You have your first triangle here, and it goes across. Okay, that's your first triangle, right? So we're starting to deal with shapes that define concepts of masculinity, and then you have the kind that define concepts of femininity. Okay? And when the two come together, you have the Star of David, right? Okay? So this is your science here. And we have, so that's 1, 2 triangles, and we have 2 more, right? So let's find out where these other 2 are. Okay, so let's do the third triangle. 3 is coming here. That's the third triangle. Okay, and so there's an opposite one here. So there's one here, bump, 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 and here's the other one. Bump, bump. We'll close that up. Now you see, we have 3 crosses and you have 4 triangles. And that's how you make your geometry, your geometric shapes to define, positionality and so forth. And these actually can embody aspects of time. Let's see how we can link this up, because the Bible, or the Helios Biblica, talks about, the Son of Man and the Son of God. Okay, when they spell it the S-O-N, but it's truly the S-U-N. Okay, and in the middle, this would be the sun right here. Okay, so we have to realize that Jesus, being the Son, had 12 disciples, okay, going around it. And each disciple had its place in the seasons, in the time of seasons, okay? And so we have, in the Last Supper, you have them at the table stretched out, and you'll see each disciple as a member of the zodiac, okay? Now, I have a chart that's been put together that describes the relationships between the planets, okay? So, and the time of day, okay? So let's take a look at that. Now we know that on the astrological charts, we start off with the sign of Aries, okay? Now Aries would be 6 o'clock in the AM, okay? And normally Aries would start here because that would denote the rising of the sun's power, okay? And then it peaks, and then it starts to wane into the winter months, okay? And once the sun goes through its underworld, all right, this is Jesus going into hell, okay, and then rising again, to be reborn or resurrected. You see, so when we look at the esoteric or the hidden truths behind the science that you can actually pull the truth from, you start reading your Bible a little bit different, okay? You start wondering, who are these disciples and apostles, okay? They're nothing more than the sections of the zodiac. They're defining energetic principles of seasons, okay? So let's see. All right, so if we had a clock and 6 o'clock was here, we would put Aries here. But since we're going with astrology, we're going to put Aries here, okay? I'm going to put Aries here. And then we're going to put Taurus here. And we'll put Gemini, okay? This is your fire, earth, air, and then you have your water sign, okay? There you have it. And then you have Leo. Then you have Virgo. Then you have Libra. And check out the glyphs of these. The glyphs is like the scale of balance, okay? That's the balancing of the season between the day signs and the night signs, okay? So I'll mark these night signs in blue, okay? So after this, you have Scorpio. Okay, and then we're delving into the depths of hell. Okay, this is where it's very the infernal regions. These are the cold regions. Okay, but it's so cold that it burns. You know what I mean? Like dry ice. Okay, so we have Virgo here, and then we have further down we have Sagittarius, and then we're dealing with none other than Capricorn, who's supposed to be representative of Saturn or Satan. These are the correspondences when you hear the words Saturn, and so we move on up. These are the stations of the cross, you know, in the progressions of the seasons. Okay, and we're entering in the time of the resurrection. Okay, where after Saturn we have the water bearer, Aquarius. And then we have, after Aquarius, Pisces. These are the two fish, which marks the age that we just left, by the way. Okay, in the 2160 year cycle, we had the age of Pisces, where Jesus was the fisher of men, right? And so this is how most people were able to make their living, by fishing for people according to their belief systems. Okay, this is why on next Saturday, on the 11th of May, I would love to go live, and just leave me your email in the comment section below, so that we can actually go and talk about it. Okay, and we can actually look into the sciences, the pseudosciences that parade as the actual thing. Okay, so we're covering the shape, the point, line, and circle. Now, how did we deviate from science? Okay, we've had a phenomenon that has happened in the not too recent past, where the circle has been squared. Okay, I'm going to show you what that looks like. Okay, so the squaring of the circle. Let's see if I can put something up here. Let me go on and erase this board here. That way you can see what I mean. Okay, and I'll have a chance to expand on that probably in our live. All right. So let me erase this, and I'm going to show you how they squared the circle, the science of the circle, and the why behind that. Okay, because we got to know these things. You know, we can't say, well, oh, that's just the way it is. No, we have to actually know the why behind the what. And then we can do something about it decisively and not be guessing, you know, second guessing. Oh, well, maybe. No. All right, so now, mind you, all of our sciences that are accurate, that can be provable, they follow the pattern in the science of the circle. All right, so here's your circle. All right, now where we can at a glance look at seasons, we can look at hours. Okay, we have 4 seasons. We have 12 hours in a day. I mean, in the daylight, and 12 hours of the night, which makes 24 hours. Okay, this could be a clock. Oh, I need to use the right kind of pen. I'm using a permanent marker on a dry erase. Okay, that's not good. That's not good, y'all. All right, so I'm going to get this cleaned off so we can get to this. Yeah, and this is why it takes me so long sometimes. I need to make sure that I know what I'm talking about, so that anybody that wants to come through and troll, you're gonna have to go through some real knowledge, and you're gonna end up making a fool of yourself when you're coming on, leading people astray, you know, through your dogma. Okay. All right, let's get the right kind of markers going on here. All right, here we go. Okay, so we had the circle, science of the circle. All right, where we have time measured in or measured on a clock, and we have calendar. Okay, calendar. All right, so what happens on a clock? We're able to say 3 o'clock. We know that 3 is over here in the hour, and that's 3 o'clock. Okay, here's how they've squared the circle on the clock here. They've created a digital version of it so that when children go to school, they're looking at these blocks. Okay, and notice that in school you have class periods called blocks, right? And these blocks are divided. You have squares. Okay, this is squaring the circle, you know. And so when you have 3 o'clock, you'll have something like this. Beep, 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 beep. And then the rest is like so. There's your squares, there's your blocks. You're squaring the circle. Okay, that's one little way. All right, so let's take a look at the calendar. All right, now your calendar has the same proportions, right? So what we're looking at with the circle science is continuity. Okay, continuity. Continuity of information. All right. When you square something, you lose continuity. Okay. At a glance, I can tell what's coming. Okay. If I look at January, February, you know, or April, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, you know, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, and so forth. I can tell what's coming. I can see what season I'm in at a glance. Because I'm using the principles of points, lines, and circles. But here, when we go to the calendars of today, we have the Gregorian calendar, right? It's on a piece of paper. Okay, and so you have, they set it up so that you have boxes. You have box of 4 going across. Okay, and then you got 3 going this way. And within those rectangles, you have smaller boxes which denote the days. And somehow certain months have 5 weeks, you know, 5-week Sundays, and some have 4-week Sundays, and somehow February gets the shortest month. Okay, and so they had to go through great pains to divide the continuity of information that you can know at a glance and match, syncretize with nature, you know, which has the same anatomy, the circuit anatomy. When you're dealing with celestials, okay, you can track the circuits of the sky with this. They've separated it out by putting the days in boxes, okay? January, February, March, April, May, June, etc. in boxes. Those smaller squares, that's the squaring of the circle. And that's the disassociation . That's the disassociation of your observation of nature. Okay, so now you've been reduced to a clock, you know, a digital clock that tells you what time of day to get up. They'll put the AM for the morning time for the first 12, and then you have your PM for the next 12. Okay, and that's your work time. And so you're so busy doing work that you forget to keep to exercise the harmonic of natural law. And you say, wow, where did the time go? You weren't able to keep up because you were either inside or you were outside all day, and some of the days run together because you're working 12 hours a day. Okay? So this is how you've been disconnected. Okay? And that was a demonstration of the knowledge system number 2, using the point, line, and circle. You can't gain any knowledge looking at a digital square clock, that's telling you what day it is, what part of the month it is, and so forth. You can't get a big picture, okay? And that's what they've been successful at doing. Now, what does that mean? Okay, so in the scheme of things, if you're Herukhuti, and your job as that aspect of spirit, okay, that frequency is to defend truth, is to uphold truth, okay. When there's a violation of truth, you have to draw the line and say no more lies, okay, because what that does is that destroys the successive generations. And so you have the dumbing down of generations, such that when your first generation was lied to and beat to compliance with the lie, okay? And they say, okay, I just want to survive. Okay, we'll raise our children up so that they can regurgitate the lie. Their children grow up into the lie. They don't have to beat them as much, okay? But they're going to have them under the iron rod of fear, because, hey, they don't know any. Fear comes from not knowing, okay? That's the root of fear, is not knowing. And so when you know, you're able to predict your future. You're able to plan for your future. You're able to know the cycles and the seasons, what's coming, okay? The patterns of the celestials or the lords, okay? That's why Herukhuti is necessary here, okay? So we're bringing it full circle. We're making relevant the necessity. We're making relevant the necessity of knowledge, okay, of upholding truth, okay, through Herukhuti. I'm going to pause here. I see my battery is about to run out, but I'm going to make sure to come back here real quickly, and resume with the third knowledge base, or the third knowledge system, okay? That would be the tree of life itself, all right? So thanks for watching, and I will be right back.